What's going on, guys? It's the Crypto Lark here from Wellington. Today we're going to be talking about the news roundup from Bitcoin news all around the world. There's so many different stories happening, so many different countries. I can't name them all right now. We'll just have to go through them one by one, guys, so stay tuned. Quick shout out to everyone who is hitting that like button and hitting the subscribe button down below, guys. I really appreciate all the support that everyone's been giving to my channel. It's absolutely awesome. And of course, quick disclaimer, this is not professional financial advice. This is just one dude sharing his love for all things crypto related on the internet. Let's get into it, guys. Bitcoin down 7% on the week, down to $4,102.61 at the time of recording this video. So that, of course, triggers a red throughout the entire market. NEO is all the way back down to 20 bucks, although some notable exceptions do keep plowing forward. Lisk all the way up to 7 bucks finally. Nice. Misego staying quite strong. IOTA has taken a major hit down. And ARK is performing fantastically well. Remember when I first talked about it, it was like $1.50. Wow. Go ARK. Go ARK. So let's get into the news, guys. Why are the prices down? Well, there's a few reasons why the prices are down. One of the reasons is this. China may ban Bitcoin exchanges. Everyone's freaking out. The markets are scared. When the markets are scared, prices go down. Of course, you guys know the old saying, when everyone else is scared, it's time to buy. When everyone else is greedy, it's time to chill out. That's, of course, paraphrasing quite a bit, old Warren Buffett saying there. But if China does crack down on cryptocurrency, we will probably see a farther price plunge. So, hold on to your butts, guys. It's not done yet. It is not done yet. Of course, this is all just rumor at this point. You might have a situation where whales are, paying people to spread rumors. Pay some dude a couple $100 to spread a rumor, and then you go in and you buy Bitcoin when it, hits below $4,000. You make a freaking fortune if you have the money to do such things. So let us not base any decisions on rumor until we actually see some real policy coming out of China. And look, if China does ban Bitcoin to the average citizen, what, you don't think that the government's gonna keep going, or that that Bitmain and all these other big mining pools are gonna keep mining Bitcoin? Of course they are. We're just gonna see a move from regular humans having Bitcoin to corporations having Bitcoin in China. But I don't think they're going to. I think they're just going to regulate, make sure that they're getting their tax money off of it. Jamie Dimon, this guy, screw this guy. This guy has come out and said that Bitcoin's a scam. Bitcoin's gonna fall to pieces. Don't buy Bitcoin. Man, stupid and dangerous, he says. What a tool, this guy. What an absolute tool. As soon as this happened, the Bitcoin markets dropped quite a bit. Now that actually coincides with the same time approximately that the rumors in China went out about the Bitcoin price. So all these things kind of came together and we saw a big drop in the price of Bitcoin again, of course. Now, one thing that I suspect when I see something like Jamie Dimon coming out and saying Bitcoin's a fraud, yeah, right, Jamie. More likely than not, you and other people like you come out, say all this crap, the price goes down, and you guys buy up. JP Morgan, those guys. Okay, continuing. Kenya's central bank forbids banks to provide services to Bitcoin companies. Kenya, why? Why, Kenya? Why? Of course, this is just, a continuation of back and forth all around the world as governments are just rushing to keep up with what's going on and trying to figure out how they can, control Bitcoin, how they can tax Bitcoin, how they can regulate Bitcoin. It's, in Russia, it's a great example of this whole situation. Here we go. Russian finance minister, no point in prohibiting cryptocurrencies. Well, he's true. There is no point in doing that because prohibiting cryptocurrencies fundamentally misunderstands cryptocurrencies. That's in the name, crypto, guys. They can't ban or prohibit cryptocurrencies in Russia. It's like, saying you're going to prohibit the internet or something like this. It just doesn't work like that. They can prohibit businesses from accepting cryptocurrencies, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to at all. Of course, they are Russia's just trying to figure out what to do. Are they going to simply sell it on exchanges? Are they going to ban regular people from mining? They've been talking about that. Are they just trying to make it so that all the oligarchs and the big businesses can take all the advantage from Bitcoin and then sell it to regular people without regular people being able to get access to it? It's hard to say. If typical Russian fashion goes forward, what I would imagine happening would be that they'll pass enough contradictory laws so that everybody's kind of breaking the rules all the time, so that if any enforcement needs to happen, they'll always have justification to do it, unfortunately. Russia seems to like doing that. Moving on, over in Switzerland, they've got a new Cryptopolis. Cryptopolis. You can now pay your taxes in a second town. This is the second town, actually. Chiasso, in Italian. Near the Italian part of Switzerland. Following on from Zug, there are now 2 cities in Switzerland where you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. Such a difference, isn't it? Progressive countries like Switzerland, you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. Kenya, no. It's the future. And countries like Switzerland know that it is the future. Speaking of taxes, only 802 people paid taxes on Bitcoin profits, says the IRS over in the US. Coinbase has 10 million plus users based in the US. Think about that for a second. It's coming, guys. It's coming. One of these days, they're going to figure out how to tax Bitcoin. Right now, we're in a situation of being fairly anonymous, but of course, they're going to get into those Coinbase accounts one of these days, guys, and they're going to be tracking everybody, and they're working with companies like Chain Analysis to help track Bitcoin transactions, to know who's sending what where, and you know how it is, guys. They want to control that money. This is why the privacy coins are exploding. People don't want to, pay taxes on this stuff, and they're sick of funding the war machines. What are you going to pay taxes on in the U.S.? Bombing kids in Afghanistan? Awesome. That's not what Bitcoin's all about. Bitcoin doesn't want to bomb kids in Afghanistan, guys. And not to get political here, but, Bitcoin has been designed to, subvert all of this stuff, all of this fiat currency, and all of these countries, making war out of fiat currency and government control and all this stuff. And yeah, there probably does need to be some kind of regulation, and maybe the community isn't sufficient to do that, because, the Bitcoin community in particular has largely become big corporations that all mine. If you let those guys make all the decisions, well, that's not particularly awesome either. But I really don't want, Uncle Sam, regulating Bitcoin, nor do I want any other government really, saying what you can and can't do with your Bitcoin. And before you know it, there'll be, caps on Bitcoin transactions. I just did a news piece the other day where, Portugal, they've got a 3,000 euro limit now on how much cash you're allowed to spend. You're not allowed to spend cash to buy something over 3,000 euros. How twisted is that? What if you want to buy a car? What if you, I don't know, you sell vegetables for a living and you want to go buy a house using all the cash you made at the markets? You can't do it anymore. It's illegal. You'll get fined and arrested for doing it. I hope we don't see something like that with Bitcoin. Now, we're going to talk in a minute here about some of the upgrades coming to Bitcoin that might actually make this a little bit better, but you really understand why Monero and Zcash and PIVX and Navcoin and all this stuff are just taking off, because people don't want this. People don't want governments involved in cryptocurrencies, and I think that's a great thing, because they don't have a good track record of doing things that are good for humanity, unfortunately. Okay, let's move on. North Korea is targeting South Korea's Bitcoin exchanges. Of course they are. Of course they are. That's hilarious. North Korea, the other Korea. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Like, North Korea, I tell you, they're like the most hilarious country in the world. Nuclear weapons, trying to steal their neighbor's Bitcoin. These guys, I tell you. Okay. Finland, however, again, you know, so I wanted to just do all these different stories from all these different countries today, just to point out how non-together the whole thing is. We have so many countries doing so many different things, regulating in such a different way. It's crazy. For a global internet-based currency, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Of course, Finland came out on the positive side. There is no need to regulate it because it, as a system, is committed to the protocol as is, and transaction fees it charges the users are determined by the users independently of the miners' efforts. That's great. Thank you, Finland. Thank you for being sensible and doing your research and knowing what is actually going on. Because this is, I think, part of the problem in a lot of countries is that the people who are passing legislation for this stuff have no idea what's going on. You know, they're dinosaurs. They don't understand this technology. They don't understand what Bitcoin's about. You know, you see the reports from politicians and what they say, and you see some of these old school guys, they just don't get it. They really just don't get it. So it's nice to see that countries like Finland, of course, I'm not surprised. You know, Finland and Austria and Estonia and Sweden and Iceland and Norway, all these places are super progressive and are hopping on board with the Bitcoin bandwagon. And of course, a lot of other countries in Europe too, you know. So that's really good. Good work, Finland. Good work. Okay, let's talk about some upgrades or possible upgrades and more possible drama coming to the Bitcoin network. It's crazy, guys. So on the one hand, the Lightning upgrade might let us do decentralized mining, which would be great. You know, it helps solve some of the problems of the centralization of mining. We would like to see that. However, maybe Lightning doesn't need to be scaled. Maybe we could use, what was this called? The Revive network, isn't it? To do off-blockchain payments to make it even more scalable. So there's a lot of proposals being moved forward for the Bitcoin network. However, you got these guys over here, SegWit 2.2x. SegWit 2x, what are we doing? They're forking with the Bitcoin again, guys. Stop forking the Bitcoin, you forkers. Oh, man. So there is, of course, the very real possibility that Bitcoin is going to fork again in November. That sucks. That sucks. You know, it just, the more this happens, the more confusion, the more, I don't think it's good for the network. I don't think it's good for the whole Bitcoin movement in general. Like, okay, yeah, great. If you're holding Bitcoin, you might get, you know, another free airdrop of money like happened with Bitcoin Cash. And arguably, Bitcoin Cash has some nice benefits to it, but Bitcoin Cash will soon run out of steam when it becomes massively unprofitable to mine. And it's already becoming massively unprofitable to mine and will only get worse. And so what's going to happen when there's no miners on the network? Transactions won't go through on the network. And so another fork to Bitcoin, yeah, okay, we're going to get our sweet little payout, you know, for everyone holding Bitcoin. That's great. But I don't think it's good for the whole space in general. If we keep forking the Bitcoin every, 3 or 4 months, it's not a positive thing. Now, why do they want to fork the Bitcoin at all? Well, these guys weren't happy with SegWit 1, so they wanted to do SegWit 2. They weren't happy with the upgrades, and they want farther upgrades. Great. Great, guys. This is the Bitcoin world in general. It's really hard to come to consensus on things, and when people don't get their way, it's usually a minority group doesn't get their way, they run off and say, no, we're forking the Bitcoin. And that's exactly what happened with Bitcoin Cash. An extreme minority of miners said, no, we're not going to. And they forked the Bitcoin. And this may be very well what happened with SegWit 2x. So stay tuned, guys. We could be up for a lot more Bitcoin drama in the next few months. Now, that being said, Mast has been also proposed for the Bitcoin network. Those are Merkleized Abstract Syntax Trees, or MAST for short. Now, you might be saying, what the heck is that, Lark? Well, let's just break it down to the basics. They're looking at greater transaction flexibility, introducing things like smart transactions, similar to some of the functionality that we see with Ethereum. So, for example, if I wanted to have a transaction that expires after a certain period of time, or sort of an escrow type thing where we both need to agree to it. You know, if I'm going to pay you Bitcoin for something, I put a hold on it until I receive the product, for example. Something like this. And of course, because it would actually increase privacy as well, we would actually see less data being sent to every block, which would of course increase scalability as less data is stored in every block. So these would be great upgrades. We don't need SegWit2x. We need things like this to move Bitcoin forward. We really, really don't need another fork, but another fork is likely to fork and happen. So keep an eye out for that one, guys. I like this article here too. The Bitcoin is dead. Long live Bitcoin. The crux of this article, which is an interesting idea, and I think as we move farther forward will become even more relevant, is that owning one Bitcoin won't really be a thing in the future. Very, very few people will have one Bitcoin or more. It's already to the situation, if you have 10 Bitcoin, you're already in the top 1% of Bitcoin holders. Even if you have 1 Bitcoin, you're in, a top percentage of holders. Most people don't have Bitcoin for very long. We get it. We buy altcoins or we spend it to buy things on the internet. It's rather fluid. That's why the volume is one of the reasons why the volume is so high with Bitcoin. Long-term hodlers, there should be a few more of us, but at the same time, if we're going to have Bitcoin as money, you actually do need to spend your Bitcoin at some point. Maybe we'll see a future where things are priced in Satoshi, not in dollars. You go into a coffee shop, hey, how much is that coffee? Oh, it's 50 Satoshi. Okay, great. Instead of saying that's 0.0000001 Bitcoin, for example. Right? That would be a nice future. I would like to see that. Things are just priced in Satoshi everywhere. I went shopping. How much does shopping cost today? It cost 350 Satoshi to go shopping today. Of course, if we can bring the network fees down, if we can bring the scalability up, and all these different things. Look, the SegWit2x guys, they've got their points, and Bitcoin does continually need to be upgraded. But we don't need a hard fork to do it. We can do soft forks where we, continually upgrade the Bitcoin network. So I understand some of the criticisms, but Bitcoin as a currency really does have this global potential. So if you have a chance to get one Bitcoin now, get it and hold it, guys. Get it and hold it, because as mass adoption continues to move forward, the prices are just going to explode. They really, really, really are. Okay. The Vietnamese are getting into the mining game. They are buying ASIC miners like crazy from China. And they're not exactly sure what to do about it. Domestic customs are like, can we let these in? Can we not let these in? So even though Vietnam is moving to legalize Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies some point next year, they're still, catching up legislatively. And the final big news from the Bitcoin mining world today is this: e-commerce giant DMM to launch a Bitcoin mining venture. This is huge news, guys. Absolutely huge news. Now, only a few days ago, we did a story about GMO, which is another Japanese internet company. They are going to be spending a whole lot of money next year on starting their own mining venture. Now, DMM is also getting into the game. So again, we're just seeing more and more countries, popping up here, getting involved, doing this. Bitcoin mining difficulty is really going to go up a lot, guys. And of course, as more and more people get involved, more and more people get in the network, we're going to see the price again continue to rise exponentially with Bitcoin. So one big bonus here, DMM will have its own mining pool, but also be offering cloud mining services. So I would like to see another reliable player come into the cloud mining business. I would welcome that for sure. So, stay tuned to that space. We'll see. That apparently by the end of the year, even they'll have their cloud mining rolled out, or at least trials will be starting by the end of the year. So, curious to see what happens there. A lot of competition on the way. The Bitcoin space is going to be getting really busy in the next couple years, guys. So, get your Bitcoin now. Well, it's still $4,000 because it's going to go up, guys. It's going to go up. Anyway, that's a lot of news, but I hope some of the news updates are useful for you guys, and just helps give everyone an understanding of the fear in the markets and the difficulty governments have in handling Bitcoin, and some of the coming upgrades to the Bitcoin network, and of course the continued drama that we will see in the Bitcoin network moving forward. Anyway, guys, that is all from the Crypto Lark. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.